to the mountaintops. Won't you come follow me? I'll take time to notice all that I see. And after I've come so far, you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. But life is a vision, that's how it should be. The world is a canvas, and the choices are free. At the end of the journey, where all is complete, they'll all wonder where I've gone, but you know where I'll be. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. I'll fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away home. Our dreams last forever, for all that we know. The roads come together, and that's where we'll go.
Hafa day and good evening. I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Troy Torres.
And we are Candid News. Welcome to our studios. It is November 17 on this beautiful island of Guam.
Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing?
I went to Mass
Me
today.
too.
I went to Jigo Church. Benita gave me the...
Oh yeah, how's she doing?
She looks good.
Did she smile?
Yes, of course.
Love her. So, before we get started on our top story, there's been a lot of activity on those stories involving, basically theft of government property. Sorry, news tip just came in. Theft of government property, government resources, government funds, related to Janella Carrera, the Director of Communications at the Governor's Office. There was the story about the Governor's Executive Security Officer, Ryan Shimizu, who stole a wallet that contained $300 that was meant for a little girl's medical treatment. Mm-hmm. By all accounts, that money has not yet been returned to the father of that little girl.
That's just adding salt to the wound, you know?
Yeah, it is.
It really doesn't matter what the money was for. It just, the fact that he took it and he's a police officer.
Yeah.
I got a tip today, too. I forgot to bring that up. That the police department did their part by arresting them. It was the powers that be that released him.
The Attorney General's office?
Yeah, he didn't. The police department did their part. They got the guy,
Okay.
and then he was booked and released because of the powers that
The
be.
AG's office said to release him, or? Oh, well. We'll follow up tomorrow then.
Mm-hmm.
We'll ask Carlina Sharfers. The other person who was involved in our stories was Tony Babauta, and we recited part of a Washington Post article that brings us back to Tony Babauta's days of embarrassing Guam, when he was the Assistant Secretary of the Interior for Insular Affairs, and he was forced to resign during the Obama administration because of misconduct on his part. There was a federal investigation that came out about him. And just to remind people about, this is the governor's chief of staff. Now, if you think that Governor Lulian Guerrero has surrounded herself with the best and the brightest, think again. This is a report by Josh Hicks of the Washington Post. It reads, President Obama's only cabinet-level official from the U.S. territory of Guam steered federal contracts to friends, engaged in discrimination and sexual harassment, requested and received personal favors from subordinates, and benefited personally from taxpayer-funded trips, according to a watchdog report. The review by the Interior Department's Inspector General largely substantiated allegations from agency employees against Anthony Babauta, who resigned in January, this was in 2014, as Assistant Secretary for Interior's Office of Insular Affairs. Investigators determined that the former official directed the awarding of 2 Office of Insular Affairs grants worth a combined $451,200 to the University of Guam against the advice of his staff and grant specialists. The money went to the school's Micronesian Center for a Sustainable Future. Babauta released a statement this week that acknowledged, quote, the appearance of conflicts, unquote, but said his actions as Assistant Secretary were, quote, legitimate endeavors to improve the quality of life for areas under my responsibility, unquote. He added that his connections with Guam leaders, quote, had no bearing in how I made a final decision, unquote. Babauta's statement did not address the other findings of the investigation. The report said that Babauta, who is married, frequently met with a girlfriend during trips he booked for government business, including a meeting in Arkansas with the state's health department and the Marshallese ambassador. His mistress was in Arkansas at the time, visiting with family and doing work for former Congressman Vic Snyder, the report said. In terms of harassment, investigators determined through interviews with employees that Babauta made female workers feel uncomfortable with some of his comments. According to the report, Babauta told one woman had a, quote, hot ass, unquote, after sitting in her chair. It's the first time I'm reading that line. He also appeared to be fixated on high heels, saying women should wear high heels instead of flats, complimenting a female intern for wearing sexy shoes, and saying women should keep hooker footwear around the office, the report said. What would you do to him if he said that to you?
I would laugh at him. I would super laugh at him. Like, man, you ain't getting it at home, buddy. And you sure ain't gonna get it here.
Babauta also asked a deputy director to prepare a PowerPoint presentation for a speech at his daughter's school about public service, and he had an employee pick up his girlfriend at an airport and drive them around for the weekend, among other questionable uses of government personnel, according to the report. The University of Guam has said it did nothing improper and that it used the funds to benefit activities of the Micronesian Chief Executives Council. The Office of Insular Affairs eventually terminated the grants and returned the remaining $378,818 in funds to the federal government, according to the report.
Wow.
You know that I know what the grant they're talking about, that Micronesian Center for Sustainable Future, that was contracted out, and it was an arrangement that was lobbied for by a particular sleazeball businessman on Guam. Among the presidents and governors of the Micronesian region, so that this business could get a contract, and that person just happened to be friends with the powers that be at the University of Guam and through Tony Babauta. And I remember Governor Calvo was really upset about that whole thing at the time, because he wanted to use some of this money, which was really at the discretion of the governor of Guam and not the Assistant Secretary of the Interior, for different things. I think he wanted to buy ambulances with that money, and Tony Babauta had it directed somewhere else, to the University of Guam. And for these contracts, these illegally gotten contracts, through the Micronesian Chiefs Executive Summit. I remember this very clearly. So I wanted to remind everybody about Tony Babauta. That yes, he's the governor's chief of staff. Yes, he has his grand title. He has all the power in the world, yada, yada, yada. But he's just another crook. You know? Like, embarrassing Guam in the federal government.
He's so nice to Janella. I wonder why. I thought she was into doctors and stuff. And she wears them high heels, Cello. Me, I hate it when we have to go to places, to the governor's office, because I feel like I have to wear heels. And I'm like, why am I going to wear heels? My toes are going to hurt. I'm going to wear flats. Fashion before comfort.
I wear tank tops, shorts,
I know.
and Zoris.
I know.
Yeah. And I don't care. Leading to our top story tonight is one of the top stories in the country, and it was published in Forbes, titled "Vote to Federally Legalize Marijuana Planned in Congress." The author is Tom Engel. A key congressional committee plans to hold a historic vote on a bill to end the federal prohibition of marijuana next week. Two sources with knowledge of the soon-to-be-announced action said. The legislation, sponsored by the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler, would remove cannabis from the Controlled Substances Act and set aside funding to begin repairing the damage of the war on drugs, which has been disproportionately waged against communities of color. Those programs, such as job training and legal aid for people impacted by prohibition enforcement, loans for small cannabis businesses owned and controlled by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals, and efforts to minimize barriers to licensing and employment in the legal industry, would be paid for with a new federal 5% tax on marijuana sales instituted under the bill, and some of them would be administered by a new Cannabis Justice Office in the Department of Justice. The proposal, the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, or the MORE Act, would also provide for resentencing and expungement of records for people previously convicted of cannabis offenses, and would shield immigrants from being denied citizenship status over marijuana. It currently has 55 sponsors, all but one of whom are Democrats. A Senate companion is being led by Senator Kamala Harris, a 2020 presidential candidate, though has not yet been scheduled for action in the GOP-controlled chamber. Wednesday's planned Judiciary Committee vote on the far-reaching cannabis reform legislation, which hasn't yet been officially listed but is expected to be announced on Monday, comes about 2 months after the full House overwhelmingly approved a bipartisan bill to increase marijuana businesses' access to banks. Politico reported on Saturday that Representative Barbara Lee of California, who is not a member of the panel, vaguely mentioned upcoming committee consideration while speaking at a conference in Southern California. The Congresswoman reportedly didn't clarify that the legislation would be formally marked up or voted on, a detail that sources shared with Marijuana Moment in recent days. A Judiciary Committee spokesperson hasn't responded to several inquiries about the pending vote. The planned action on the bill, which would also block federal agencies from denying public benefits or security clearances over marijuana use, follows a hearing a Judiciary Subcommittee held in July that examined the connection between marijuana legalization and racial justice. The markup will provide the opportunity for lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to file amendments to the bill, and could shed further light on an emerging divide between cannabis reform supporters who feel it is essential to address past drug war harms and equity in the cannabis industry immediately, and those who believe it makes more sense to advance more limited, states' rights-focused legislation that could stand a better chance of advancing through the Senate and to President Trump's desk. Those tensions surfaced both during the blah, 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 the thing goes on and on. So, the federal government, this is a big thing. Like all of those interstate commerce issues, dealing with, the sale of the seeds, like where do you get the seeds from? In Guam law, the whole where do you get the seeds from is purposely left quiet because the Guam legislature can't say, hey, why don't you import the seeds so that you can begin cultivation here? Or why don't we recognize the seeds that forever and ever we've recognized as illegal, use those seeds to plant your marijuana. So the legislature purposely left that silent, and it's because, by and large, federal law still says
you cannot have it shipped here. You can't.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the money works either. Like if you make money off of marijuana, you cannot send the money to Arizona.
Not until the federal government decriminalizes it.
So that's what this bill does, and it does far more than decriminalizes it.
Well, Guam's just 10 years behind.
So we bring this up, and it's just a coincidence that we found this story today because we did our own marijuana story, and it has a correlation to the Blood Money series that we've been running about um, the Liberty, the so-called Liberty, Symbolics, and Match Play slot machines, which are all over this island in game rooms, and previously they were in the King's Restaurant in Harmon, the Fun Fair in the Micronesia Mall. We saw them in washing, or what do you call those, laundromats? Let's just have a conversation here. Where can you think of any of these game rooms or these places where Liberty machines are operating that are within 1,000 feet of a park or a school?
Every village.
Like
Every village it's in. Derrida.
like where in Derrida?
Right there where, you don't remember A1 shoe store?
Yeah.
There.
And that's
Park's right
within,
across the street.
that's Lenshu Park
Yeah.
and the Derrida Skate Park, right?
Yeah.
Right near Lee Garden, there's one.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There's two. That's right. There's two there.
Yeah.
There's Santa Barbara School. That's right there, right?
Mhm.
There's well, the Fun Fair itself. That's an amusement park for children, right? King's was right next to, what's that? J.M. Guerrero Elementary. The Derrida Gymnasium.
No, but also there's a game room inside Compadres Mall.
Yeah.
Oh,
Winter-
that's right. That's right.
So I forget the name of
Not
that.
Sugunaza, right?
No.
That's the same building as KM.
Is it Winter One or something?
No, that's the next building down. This is in Compadres Mall.
Yeah. It's behind King's.
It's
Yeah.
it's next to where the bingo is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that, and that's right next to. That is right next to
J.M.
Guerrero, and
Yeah.
then just down the road from the soccer fields, the Derrida.
We should
Swim
ask
point, yeah.
Mayor Hoffman how he was able to get rid of that game room that was put up next to Payless in Sinahania. It was open for a good month and it was shut down right away.
Was he the one that led that
renovation?
effort?
Yeah, renovation and all because he did not want it in his village.
Well, good for him. Good for him. That's really good.
So we need to ask him how he was able to, because they renovated the place. They spent money, I guess the owner, right? And he was able to get it shut down right away. The people in Tamuning, there was one game room that opened in Tamuning, and all the neighbors and everybody complained about it. A certain area in Tamuning, and they shut it down.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So we need to get with those people on how they got them to.
How long do you remember Pizza Hut in Sumuning being there?
Long time.
What is it like for as long as you can remember?
Yeah.
For as long, because I used to live, I grew up in that area, and so I remember Pizza Hut was there. We used to get pizza from there all the time. I used to love going to Pizza Hut with my dad.
Me too.
And my
That was
brothers
our
and
favorite,
sisters.
right? That was our favorite spot prim with my mom, right?
Next to the mall.
Yeah.
Oh, the Derrida one was cool
Yeah.
too. The one that used to be near the mall.
Yeah.
So Pizza Hut recently closed down. Right next door to it is Lucky Land Game Room. Lucky Land Game Room is still thriving and alive. It is at the intersection of Route 1 Sumuning and Camp Watkins or Governor Carlos Camacho Road. Not 1,000 feet away is the first and the second northernmost public beach parks on East Hagåtña Bay, right? Are there any other public parks or schools or anything in that area? No, right?
Are daycares included in
Yes,
the school
daycares
salt?
are included.
So, okay.
Yeah, child care centers are included. So, in this prohibition, in this marijuana prohibition, so it is not illegal in Guam law. The legislature did not think to make it illegal to place these gambling machines within a proximity of 1,000 feet of child care centers, public schools, private schools, public parks, amusement centers for children, and generally where children congregate. Yet we have all of these examples, and there are more. There are more in almost every village that these game rooms exist or these machines are operating within the proximity of children, schools, and all that stuff, right? But Senator Amanda Shelton, in the debate on what is now Public Law 35-5, which legalized adult use cannabis, it's Senator Clinton Rigel's bill, right? She was so adamant about keeping cannabis establishments away from children because of her high moral compass and blah blah blah, that she fought for this. And let's play this amendment or this part of the legislature's discussion about this so that you can see this.
This establishment shall not subsequently be added to or enlarged.
On that amendment, Senator Shelton and then Senator Titlery.
Madam
Thank
Speaker,
you.
Speaker,
Yes.
point of order, Madam Speaker. Can we just get a copy of the amendments? Some of us don't have it here. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
We're going to go ahead and ask the Sergeant of Arms to please get copies to all of them. And I'll go ahead and have Senator Shelton. Go ahead and proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to make an amendment to the amendment. I thank the previous speaker for this amendment. I think it's very important to establish these guidelines of where we can put these cannabis establishments, and I think it's very important that we have a distance between any school, and I'd like to propose to change from the distance of 500 feet to 1,000 feet.
There's an amendment to the main amendment. Are there anyone wishing to speak? Senator San Augustine, you're recognized.
Madam Speaker, I'm just concerned is that the author of the amendment, not the amendment to the amendment, but the original author, is this restriction of a cannabis establishment, is this consistent with the ABC restrictions that is not be within so many feet from a school and childcare and everything? Because there is a law that deals with alcohol beverage.
Oh,
And if
he
it's
knows about
consistent,
that.
then we should stay
He's the
consistent
one
with
that
that.
licensed those machines.
But I'm not too sure. I'm trying to find it right now.
You know, for people, for cannabis, which is a health, it helps you, right? People with seizures, it's a known fact now, right? We're not guessing.
We're not.
For the two people who are the number one supporters of this blood money, oh my Jesus. Senator San Augustine and Senator Amanda Shelton.
Senator Hippomanda Shelton.
Dispense that. It's a lie. I want to see how quiet, or I want to see how vocal they are on Senator Talina Nelson's bill to ban these machines.
Well, first of all, we found out from Senator Regine Biscoli's office because she is the chairwoman of the Committee on Rules. And so we were thinking, how come Senator Lee hasn't referred Vice Speaker Nelson's bill to ban the gaming rooms to a committee yet? And we found out that according to the standing rules of the legislature, before that can happen, Senator Joe San Augustine's Office of Finance and Budget has to prepare and submit to the Committee on Rules what's called a pre-referral report. And Senator San Augustine hasn't done that yet. We actually emailed him.
We should call him and ask him if he needs help.
Well, we emailed him and he hasn't responded. We don't think they're going to respond anyway. We went to the legislature. We tried to catch the senators, but they all sort of like, whoosh.
We
as
should
soon
catch
as-
him at his office.
We can try that. Before I forget, just a little on subject, but not exactly regarding this cannabis thing. I was told I was supposed to go to the fundraiser for Senator James Moylan, right? And a few people called me up that toward the ending of the fundraiser, in walks John Torres from the gambling industry, and that he was lurking and waiting to speak with Senator Moylan, but he was intercepted by one of the staffers, and one of the staffers said, "Oh, I'm sorry, the senator is just very busy right now." And then Johnny Cool walks out. So I guarantee you that he wasn't there to give his good tidings and wonderful
Maybe
joy
he
about
donated.
the fundraiser. Oh, I'm sure he donated. But he was there to lobby against this bill. They are working hard to lobby against this bill. Lauren Bromley is purchasing a home.
Whose writing is that?
My writing.
Why does it look so fancy?
It's cursive.
Oh. I'm like, oh, somebody came here and wrote a note for Troy.
And it's in marker.
Really
That's
nice
why.
writing.
Lauren Bromley, one of the
I
bigger
thought someone
owners.
was trying to take my position.
No. One of the bigger owners of Guam Music Inc. Is buying a property or has bought a property at Palo Verde, which just happens to be the same place where the governor's legal counsel without a full license.
Maybe they're selling that to her.
Who knows? Oh, maybe that's why they haven't paid the property tax, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll check it out. Land records don't lie.
So
I'm
maybe
sorry, well,
Lauren's going to
sometimes
buy
they
that
do.
off of the governor's son.
Maybe. And there's another bit of information that I'll tell you about after the show
Okay.
that we need to track down regarding campaign finances
Okay.
and Lauren Bromley. So, Senator Amanda Shelton, her reasons for this doubling of what... So Senator Joe Augustine was right. This amendment to the amendment would be inconsistent with everything else. It would double it.
Did you just hear yourself?
Yes,
The
amendment to the amendment. Yes, and the first time that earlier, when I was playing it earlier tonight, Prim started laughing as soon as you heard Joe Augustine say that. I think everyone starts laughing
The
at the
only
legislature.
thing consistent here is your inconsistencies.
Like whenever people hear Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes call it the august body,
Yeah.
or whenever like a senator says the amendment to the amendment, I think like normal people just start laughing because they sound so ridiculous. So anyway, Senator Amanda Shelton put this amendment forward, which made it into the bill, which became law, making this 1,000 feet requirement for cannabis retail, cultivation, or distribution businesses. So they cannot be within 1,000 feet of these places, right? She did it because she was concerned about kids, and she was concerned about, she has this so-called moral compass about this cannabis thing. And, well, she said all that stuff without looking at any of the science on this. Just recently, 2 economists from the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia.
19% down. Crime rate
Yep.
is 19% down.
They conducted a study. It was released in September. It says the results. One concern that marijuana legalization opponents often voice is the fear that dispensaries will increase local criminal activity, but a new study found the opposite to be true. The results imply that an additional dispensary in a neighborhood leads to a reduction of 17 crimes per month per 10,000 residents, which corresponds to roughly a 19% decline relative to the average crime rate over the sample period. The study, published last week in Regional Science and Urban Economics, is one of the first to look at how legalization affects neighborhood crime rates in the short term. Researchers used local monthly crime-related data in Denver, where legal adult-use cannabis sales began in January 2014, over the span of January 2013 to December 2016. As the researchers write, the city of Denver is the clear mecca of recreational marijuana sales in Colorado. They also mapped out the location of recreational and medical dispensaries that opened and closed during the study period, finding that dispensaries were more often located in neighborhoods with higher poverty, more minorities, and a higher number of jobs for the number of people who live there. Although crime in nearby counties fell by 0.2% between 2013 and 2014, crime rates in Denver itself increased by 1.7%, except in neighborhoods that gained dispensaries. We find that adding a dispensary to a neighborhood of 10,000 residents decreases changes in crime by 19% relative to the average monthly crime rate in a census tract. These results are robust to many alternative specifications, are unique to time periods after legalization, and diminish quickly over space.
You know what I have to say to that?
Amanda's wrong.
No. I've been around marijuana all my life, right? I've smoked marijuana, ate marijuana, whatever. Stone people never smoke through their bong and say, "Oh, let's go rob the game room." Huh? They don't. This is what they do.
They're
They
too
get
lazy.
Stone and they're like, "Dude, let's go bake cookies."
No. Bro, let's go eat at Pizza Hut. How about that? Let's not steal from the Lucky Land game room. Let's go eat at the Pizza Hut next door. And the symbolism behind the closure of that iconic Pizza Hut and the thriving of the Lucky Land game room should tell our leaders something. Just clear as day what's going on in this community. There are people who would rather, or who just cannot help themselves but to deposit their entire paychecks into those machines rather than feeding their families at
But
Pizza
you
Hut.
need to remember, those people aren't in the right state of mind, Troy.
Yeah.
Their mind is altered.
Yeah.
But not with marijuana.
Their mind is altered to get food.
Yeah.
To lay down.
They don't even go into King's or Pizza Hut and eat and then run. Not like those girls, the girl with the 5 head. Remember that? What were they on? They went into Benii, and it just so happened that someone Facebooked and tagged, or one of the girls that they ate, the women ate, right?
They were hungry?
Yeah, they ate and they ordered all kinds of fancy. They wanted to show off, and they ran. One of the women took pictures of them in Benii. How do you say Benii?
Benii.
I said Benii. Anyways, they tagged the freaking restaurant.
What an idiot.
I'm not joking. True story, bro.
Oh, what an idiot.
True story. And they weren't stoned.
Oh.
You know what they were on.
Candidates for the freaking Darwin Awards. I swear to God. Stone people drive at like 22 miles per hour in a 35 zone.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm not biased here because I do not like weed. Weed, I cannot stand it. It slows me down. Like I'm trying to think, but I can't because
paranoid.
I'm stupid. Yeah. And so I'm like,
You think
I don't.
the FBI's after you?
I don't like weed. Don't like it at all. So hey, I'm the last person who will defend it. And we're not saying that there shouldn't be these buffer zones from, like schools and whatever, right?
But if revenue and tax did their job like they're supposed to, instead of, never mind.
The powers that be.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need a regulation is key, and if they have not regulated those machines, not one, what is it called? They never went out to
The
check.
inspection reports.
No inspections, no nothing. Somebody's being paid for that not to happen.
Let's go to the comments. Marvin Francisco says, Johnny, my cousin shared a pic with you and his family. Who's your cousin, Marvin? And David Camacho said of Tony Babauta, Chilean staff. He also says black market marijuana profits will rise tenfold. Joanne Fullerton says, good evening. Good evening, my friend. I hope you're feeling better.
Hi.
David Camacho says, Guam's zoning laws are like zits. Businesses just pop up unexpectedly. David Camacho also says, stone people get the munchies. Yeah, yes. Christine Perez Colburn says, LOL, you two are hilarious.
Thank you.
Did Christine go to Bishop?
I think so.
So you guys were classmates, right? Let's see what the comments are on the main
Oh, we
Facebook
forgot
page.
Mui's Garage, guys. Please don't forget Mui's Garage.
Oh,
Number
go to my screen, Chalo.
688
2944.
2944.
It's right there. It's right there.
Yeah, 688-2944 for all your automotive needs. And if you use Kandit's name or my name or Troy's name, you'll get a discount. He specializes in, if you go a little bit further, he started a project.
I think I have to.
Oh, you're not his friend?
No. Add friend.
Okay, well, he just started a project and he specializes in custom painting.
I can't add him.
Why?
I reached my limit.
Oh, shoots. He specializes in custom painting. He does engine work and all of that. So use Candid's name, Troy's name, my name, and he'll give you a discount. Mui's Garage at 688-2944.
Hang in line because I'm trying to get to the. Yeah, the comments. So we can read the comments. So before we get to the comments, the point here is that Amanda Shelton and whoever else continues to allow these game rooms to operate as they are hypocrites. Because they're going to put these restrictions on cannabis facilities. Did you just think hippopotamus? Hungry, hungry hippo. I had that game when I was a kid. Hungry, hungry hippo. Of course, I don't think you can handle Senator Amanda Shelton with a finger. That'd be like, you have to get like a pulley system if you're to affect weight like that. It's just it's science. It's physical science. In order to, with the kind of strength that ordinary humans have, in order to affect weight, on that kind of scale, you have to use a pulley system, or it's like hydraulics. Maybe Junmui has a device that can help. Never mind.
It's called a cherry picker
A cherry picker?
because
Oh.
that's what hoists the engine.
I actually know what you're talking about. It hoists the engine. In the Guam legislature, is everyone here and able to vote? Can someone please hoist Senator Amanda Shelton into the session hall? Holy cow, and I mean that.
Lord, forgive us. Our sins.
I went to church, yo.
I went
David Lebowski says, you guys have an admirable energy together that most married couples would envy. Candid success.
People always come up to me like, oh, Troy's your partner. That's your boyfriend. I'm like, lady, can't you tell me?
It was the hat, right? It's the most hated hat. Makes me look gangster. You can get this at the most hated store in Agania in the Coa building across from the venue, along with all of the other kinds of cool stuff. Oh, and the Relief Shop is having its grand opening.
Oh,
Yeah. When is it? It was today? They had the grand opening? Shoot, Tomas was telling me about that.
what is the name of the store? It's not most hated.
Choke
Choke
Supply.
Supply.
Choke Supply, yes.
Sorry.
Let's see what the comments are here. People are saying half a day. Thank you so much, you guys. Davina Benavides says, I should be taking a nice hot shower and getting settled for bed. Love you guys. But it's kind of hard to resist what Candid airs, right? Says Destiny Farnham in response. Rosie Farron says, I'm waiting for a reply from Miss Janella Carrera. Where is her paycheck actually coming from? Because it sure wasn't paid out by a private sector. You are right, girl. We all need to ask Janella Carrera again that question about her paycheck, because that was unbelievable. Maggie Trester Davis says, I stopped one of my favorite TV shows as soon as I seen Candid pop up on notifications. Thank you, Maggie. That's so sweet. Hi, Irene. Mr. Lebowski, it's about the...
I know.
Yeah. Davina says the same thing. This intro kills me. Davina Benavides also says, hot, arse, and sexy heels. She's sexy. She's talking about you. She's not talking... I don't wear heels. She's talking about you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Leighton says, hello. That's for me.
Hello.
Destiny Farnham is laughing about the amendment of the amendment. Maggie Trester Davis says Amanda needs some pot brownies. Maggie, I beg to differ. I don't think she needs any more brownies.
That is not the drug she needs, people.
Roz Javen Beno says game rooms is also a place you see a lot of family violence. That's true. Yeah. Biba Gom says marijuana plus stone equals chill. Yeah. David Lebowski says Relief is a great store. Not that I would know heart. Maggie Trester Davis says love the Relief store. Yeah. You guys go check out the Relief store.
And Choke Supply.
And Choke Supply.
They have gear. They have jiu-jitsu gear. They have all kinds of gear. Clothing.
They sell my brother's clothing line also is within Choke Supply. It's called Haga.
And if you need shirts printed as well, I think they design and print shirts.
Yes.
Except for Candid.
Michael Carlo Netterdog. Thanks. He said this week, he promised everyone, Michael Carlo Netterdog from Choke Supply promised us that we're going to get our shirt designs this week. Just so you all know his name, it is Michael Carlo Netterdog from Choke Supply. He promised us this week. So I don't think there's anything. Is there anything else? No? And then I'll tell you that tip that I got.
Okay, what do you want from me? Happy birthday, my baby.
Happy almost birthday, Johnny girl. You want to show everyone your pink hair?
Hurry up. Watch, go this way.
Happy birthday to you.
Say thank you. Good night, Guam.
Good night.
She's 44 minutes to 9 years old.
Say,
Happy birthday, Johnny girl. We love you.
say good night, Guam.
Good night, Guam.
We love you.
We love you.